and welcome to the latest episode of the Entrepreneur's Inner Game podcast. I am so excited to invite David Newman onto the show today. He's someone whose emails I always read because he packs such great content into each and every one of them. He runs a 10-person coaching company that works with speakers and experts on building more impact, more freedom, and more scale into their high-fee business models. He's a member of the NSA $1 Million Speakers Group, and he's also the author of the #1 bestseller, Do It Marketing, and his new book, which is Do It Speaking. He's the host of The Speaking Show, an iTunes Top 50 podcast, and the #1 highest-rated podcast on the business and speaking circuit. David, a very warm welcome to the Entrepreneur's Inner Game podcast. I can't wait to get into this call and find out more about you and your mindset, and also about the great work that you do.
Thank you, Nina. It's great to be here.
And let's just start off from the beginning about how you came to be doing what you're doing now, because I know you wear a couple of different hats, and obviously you have a vast experience in lots of different things. So how did you come to be where you are right now? And also, what role did your mindset play in getting you this far?
Absolutely. Well, first, my mindset held me back for quite a while, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I had a 10-year corporate consulting and training career, launched my business in January of 2002, figuring, how hard can this be? Nina, it's only entrepreneurship. It's only going out into the vast sea of nothingness with no job, no business card, no clue. And I literally struggled for years. So it was tough going out as an entrepreneurial speaker, consultant, coach. And I would say that part of my struggle in those first 3 years was I let the difficulty and the circumstances affect my mindset. So I wasn't looking for things to work. I was almost looking for things not to work. And of course, we always see and find more of what we're looking for. You look for negative, you'll find negative. You look for obstacle, you find obstacle. So then I started to turn things around. This is such an important mindset point right out of the gate. If you let your conditions and your circumstances dictate your happiness, or your conditions and your circumstances dictate your mindset, you're never going to make it. So you have to believe it before you see it. You have to have a positive frame around absolutely everything, even medium, mild, and serious disaster. And I had those disasters early on in my business. I had nightmare partnerships, people who were like lying, narcissistic sociopaths, trusting the wrong people, abdicating some financial matters that I should not have abdicated. And obviously it had to get worse before it got better. But then I started to do the business that I was meant to do, which is around 2007, 2008. I turned off all of that craziness and I had a strategic retreat with myself. And I said, what work do I really enjoy? What work do I really energizes me? And that's another huge mindset question, because we can be great at doing work that drains every ounce of our energy. And so our skills and talents are often not in line with our highest and best purpose. So I realized that I was doing the wrong thing for the wrong people in the wrong way. And what I really enjoy is just marketing and sales. So I dropped every other topic. I had about 30 different workshop topics prior to this. Jack of all trades, master of none. So focus, that was a huge point for me. And I said, well, who are the people that I really enjoy? And Nina, it's the same people that are listening to this show. It's those small to medium-sized business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, coaches, consultants, speakers, and experts. I said, what if I set up the business to only work with people I love, only doing the work that I love? And that was the breakthrough. That was when the needle started to move to the positive. That's when I started to earn some nice money. And more important than the money, that's when the joy came back into my entrepreneurial business. And then fast forward that today, as you were kind enough to say in the introduction, we've got 10 awesome, amazing people on our team now. We're working with hundreds of wonderful clients who I would be thrilled to call friends. So here's another success factor, is that when you want to hang out with the people that are your clients, when you'd want to have them be your personal friends, not only your business friends, you know that you're doing some things right. But it was an evolution, and we always have to crawl before we walk, before we run, before we fly. There is no shortcut. but working on your mindset first before all that wonderfulness happens to you is vitally important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's so interesting, isn't it? Because you said that don't let your circumstances dictate who you are and how you think. And it's so easy to keep looking to the outside world and reacting on automatic pilot. You said something really interesting. You said that you got your focus when you realized the work that you love doing was marketing and sales. And this is the work that so many entrepreneurs hate doing. They hate the marketing, they hate the sales. And this is where they can procrastinate, because we know that the more people you talk to, the more clients you're going to get. If you're not talking to people or making offers, then your business is going to be standing still. So what's the secret to loving marketing and sales?
Well, I think, Nina, the key point here is that your mindset about what marketing is and what sales really is holding most people back. That's why they hate it. That's why they gravitate towards anything else in their business other than marketing activity or sales activity. So I always share with my clients, I said, if you don't like the word marketing, you don't like the word sales, you can delete those two words out of your vocabulary and thus out of your mindset. Replace them with 4 new words: offer value, invite engagement. Offer value, invite engagement. Offer value, invite engagement. So on your podcast, for example, fantastic way that you are offering value to your members, your subscribers, your followers, your fans, your future clients, your current clients. Offer value is something that everyone is comfortable with, right? Think about it as giving a gift, right? You're giving a gift of your content. You're giving a gift of your wisdom. You're giving a gift of your insight on a webinar, on a podcast, in an article, on your website, on a blog. These are all versions of offer value. Invite engagement is not cold call the universe and spam everybody in your database. Invite engagement can start with a micro commitment. So a micro commitment to engage those people who you want to do business with. It can be as small as like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, opt in, download, right? No money has to change hands to invite engagement. So those small engagements, those micro engagements lead to, hey, would you like to hop on a webinar? Hey, would you like to have a strategy chat? And at every one of those points, people are more than welcome to say, Nina, love ya, no thanks, not the right time, not the right fit. But the right people will say, no, I would like to have a strategy chat with Nina. In fact, I've been listening to her show. I've been following her online. I've been getting her amazing content. Now is the time for me to engage her in my business. So if that's the case, if we're no longer marketing, we're no longer selling, we're getting that out of your mindset, and everything that we do on a day-to-day basis, you're following the mantra of offer value, invite engagement. What can I do today to offer value? What can I do today to invite engagement? And the engagement, remember, can be small, medium, large, or supersize, right? The final ultimate engagement is, would you like to do business with me? So I always even reframe the sales conversation, because people say, well, David, that all sounds great, but I'm still terrified of the sales conversation. Don't think about it that way. Think about it inviting people to a conversation about how you can help them. Inviting people to a conversation about how you can help their company, how you can help their team, how you can help their audience, how you can help their members or attendees, if it's a conference or an association, for example. All of the terror, I think, leaves the building when we say, well, would you like to invite a couple of people to a conversation about how you can help them further? People go, oh, yeah, that'd be great. And shh, don't tell them that's what selling is. But that's what selling is. And so forget the word selling, invite engagement, invite people to a conversation about how you can help them further.
Wonderful. I love it. This is brilliant. I love substituting those words, because marketing, sales can be scary words. So these are great actions we can take in terms of, offering value, sending out content, whatever format, and also asking people just start taking small actions to engage if we can't do the big actions yet, and then inviting them to a conversation. However, even those actions can be terrifying for some entrepreneurs, because they hate receiving a no. And then we will do everything we can in order to avoid a no. So that means avoiding giving out offers, engaging with your community, offering people into a conversation. So what could you say around getting that mindset where it's okay to get no's and to actually look forward to getting no's, because the no's lead to yeses?
I have two mindset tricks for you. The one is a simple sentence that I wish I could attribute to somebody. It's not mine, but I read it in an amazing book. I think it's from a negotiating book. And the quote is, yes lives in the land of no. Yes lives in the land of no. If you ever want to get some yeses, you have to go explore and map the territory in the land of no. The second thing, which is a fantastic mindset exercise that you can do as often as you like, whenever you want, is to reconnect with your own awesomeness. Go back to your own kudos or congratulations file, your thank you file, all the emails that you've gotten, all the Facebook posts, all the texts, all the handwritten notes and cards and letters. Nina, you changed my business. You changed my life. Thank you so much. Your program is incredible. I can't believe how far I've come. Revisit those things. Revisit your LinkedIn recommendations. Revisit every endorsement, every testimonial, every thank you email that you've ever gotten. If you reconnect with your awesomeness, here's what's going to happen. The next prospect is simply a successful, happy, thrilled client who hasn't bought from you yet. Now, I'm going to share something, and I'm sometimes accused of this a little bit arrogant. It's not meant to be arrogant in any way, shape, or form. To soften the blow of the no, that's what we're talking about here. You need to be so connected to your value and your awesomeness and the depth and the profound level to which you help your clients that when you hear no, and when our team hears no, we actually feel sorry for that prospect. So think of it this way. Your business is a huge, amazing party with music and food and dancing, and it's amazing. Someone knocks on the door where this party is happening, and you open the door, and you have a conversation. You invite them to your party, and they go, yeah, this isn't my kind of music, and I'm just going to say no thanks, and I'm going to go bowling. I'm going to go watch the soccer match instead. And you leave, and I'm sure you'd be stunned, and you'd say, well, wow, you're really missing out. This is a great, amazing party. See all these people in here dancing and singing and hugging and having a great time, and you're just totally missing the party. So we think when people don't buy from us, not from a place of arrogance or complacency, but from a place of genuine care and concern for their well-being, we're mystified, we're a little disappointed, not that we're not making the money, but that they're not benefiting from all the amazing work that we do with our clients. So a no, they're simply declining the invitation to your amazing, awesome party. Now, first step, let's not forget the first step of what I just shared, reconnect with that awesomeness, make sure that you are having a party, and then reconnect with all your fabulous, amazing past clients and customers who have benefited from working with you, and you will start to condition this muscle where your mindset will simply be, instead of, oh, I'm a terrible person, I gotta know, they're rejecting me, I'm feeling rejection, I'm feeling pain, I'm feeling frustration. I just feel a little bit of remorse, but it's not for me, it's for them.
Yeah, that's a great analogy and a brilliant reframe. And it's all about the connecting with your value it's the key piece. It's a really key piece, isn't it, of being able to have the confidence to market and to go out there to your community, tell them about the great work you do, make offers, raise your prices. And it's all about being 100% certain about who you are and what you're offering. So how can our listeners and viewers start building more of that certainty and really connecting to their values so they know it from deep within them?
Well, I'm going to share this with you. And for the folks that are listening, you might not get the visual, but if you're watching the video, I'm sitting in my chair. I'm not moving. I'm reaching down. And it's this. It's a gratitude journal. So the gratitude journal is a daily practice, and there's all kinds of companies that make these. This happens to be the Self Journal from the Best Self Company. There's another great one called the Panda Planner. I'm sure, Nina, you've got your preferred tools and journals.
Several.
But this is something where every single morning, before you do anything else, before you get sucked into email, before you get sucked into your daily client work or whatever it is, sit, quiet, cup of tea, cup of coffee, 3 things that you're grateful for. Morning gratitude, plan your day, write down your goals, long-term, short-term, medium-term, connect with what are your daily outcomes for that day, what 2 or 3 key tasks would help you win the day, and then you let that sit. At the end of the day, there's another 10-minute routine, and the 10-minute routine there is how the day go, wins and celebrations from the day, and evening gratitude. So twice a day, you are reconnecting with you, your clients, your team, the opportunities in front of you, the great people that you talk to, whether they bought or not, just the new relationships that you opened. So this is the most powerful, most effective, most grounding way to get ahead of your mindset. Be grateful in advance. And I'll give you a very mundane example of this. When I was making less than $100,000 a year, I was frustrated because I convinced myself my identity was, I don't believe this. I'm so upset. I'm a $100,000 a year guy and I'm not making $100,000. So my identity was, they had some creative tension in that. First thing I put in the gratitude journal, I am so grateful for my amazing 6-figure business. I'm making $10,000, $20,000, $25,000 a month regularly. So I'm visualizing this. I'm how it smells, how it tastes, how it feels, what it's going to look like. If you want a big, awesome, amazing client, like let's say you want to work for Google, if you're you have a customer list, dream wish list, Google is on your customer list. Well, I would challenge you, which office are you going to? Are you going to Google in Seattle? Are you going to Google in California, the big Google office in New York? You say, oh no, it's the Google office in New York, which happens to be in the Chelsea district. Do you know what the lobby looks like? Well, I would get on to Google. This is kind of funny because we're Googling Google. Google headquarters, Chelsea office. I want you to look at the hallway decorations. I want you to look at what that carpet looks like. I want you to visualize walking into that building, saying hello to the receptionist, getting your badge, walking into the conference room, and Google is your client. But now you can see, you know what that building looks like. You know what the front door looks like. You know what the reception desk looks like. You know what the signage looks like on your way to the conference room. If you can visualize that, write it down in your gratitude journal, those visualizations, that mental conditioning that you're doing with yourself to be grateful in advance is the biggest mindset hack that I know of.
Yeah, I agree. And I do my gratitude journal morning and evening. And I know the days when I don't do it, I feel out of sorts. I'm reacting to things. I don't feel I'm in control of my day. It really throws me. So this is really important. There's so much to talk about, but I would really love to talk to you about public speaking, because I know that this is an amazing way to get in front of new audiences, bring in new clients, prospects, and all of that. But so many people are terrified. It's one of the biggest fears up there, even above death. So how do you build up the confidence to become a public speaker? What's the mindset that because we all have it within us, every single one of us, we don't have to find it from the outside, we have it within us. How do we access that mindset to become a speaker?
Well, so it's a couple of things. I think there's a business case to be made, and then there's also what you're talking about, which is presentation anxiety, or how to not be afraid of standing up in front of a group of 10, 20, 200 people and doing a presentation. So I'll tackle both sides of that. The first thing is, as you mentioned in your very generous intro, I do have this book coming out called Do It Speaking, and that is all about speaking is the ultimate marketing tool, as you said, because it is. It's the ultimate personal brand builder, and it's the ultimate one-to-many sales tool. So it's really, really worth embracing the power of speaking to targeted groups of the people that you want to influence and the people that you want to do business with. So I think the motivation after hearing that should be high. The best, and this is not an area where, I'm the world's greatest expert. We do a little bit of speaker training, and we have a program called Keynotes That Convert and some other speaker type of training. The easiest, quickest path is to stop paying attention to all this crazy public speaking, generic information that you've been told. Imagine the audience in their underwear. Doesn't help. Look at the clock in the back of the room. Just stare at the back wall. Don't look at any faces. Terrible advice. Awful. What you want to do is a technique, and this works in a room of 20 or a room of 2,000. It's called lock, talk, and move. Lock, talk, and move. So I can be in a room full of 200 people. I am looking at one audience member sitting at one table in the front row. And I'm going to talk for 5 to 7 seconds. I'm going to make that point right to her. So I'm going to lock eyes. I'm going to talk, make that point, move on to the next person. And this can be by the phrase. This can be by the sentence. Typically, we say a sentence in about 5 to 7 seconds, so it doesn't look like you're staring at that poor person. But the highest compliment that I've ever gotten, and what puts a lot of our speakers at ease, but the highest compliment I've ever gotten is, session was so personalized, it felt like talking to David one-on-one. And they don't know why they're saying that, but it's because of lock, talk, and move. Lock, talk, and move. So not every audience member, if you have 200 people in the audience, you're not going to be able to lock and talk to every one of them. But the other 199 realize, oh my God, he's looking specifically at Nina. And then, oh, he's looking specifically over here at Jim. And I might look at someone all the way in the back of the room. I might even call them out for fun. I said, well, you guys know how powerful speaking is. In fact, gentlemen in the purple sweater, way in the back, do you know how powerful speaking is? So people know that I'm really in the room. They're not watching TV. It's not some screen. There's no barrier between us. I am calling out. I am connecting. I am relating with that audience. Now, you might think, well, that's a great audience technique. It's not an audience technique. It's a speaker technique. It takes all the pressure off of you because now you're just human to human, one-on-one. Yes, there's more than one person in the audience, but you're not scanning the crowd like a scared lion in the Coliseum, right? You're not being overwhelmed by, oh my God, there's 200 eyeballs on us. You're talking to one person in that room of 200, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the one in the front row, the one in the back row, the one in the middle, the one wearing the funny hat, and it just becomes a conversation. Even if you don't have any interaction, and by the way, that's another good public speaking tip, you can do a 45-minute lecture using the technique that I just shared, and number one, it won't feel like 45 minutes, and number two, it won't feel like a lecture. It goes by even faster if you genuinely engage that audience in dialogue. And if you want to professionalize this, a lot of our clients are also professional speakers. Meeting planners and conference producers now want more interaction with the speaker. They want more dialogue. They want more interactivity. They want things that are more experiential. The days of the one-way data dump, sage from the stage, that's over. So if you can have an on-stage conversation, and I sometimes frame it this way because no one's afraid of a conversation generally. It's like, how about speaking for 45 minutes without stopping in front of a group? People go, I don't want to do that. How about a 45-minute on-stage conversation where you're keeping it real, you're not memorizing anything? Let me underline that. That's the main thing that terrifies people, is we were taught to memorize. In grade school, in kindergarten, as small little children, memorize the poem, memorize the passage. That became memorize the speech. Our clients never memorize anything. The mantra is familiarize, don't memorize. So that takes all the pressure off. And I think probably 60 to 80% of folks that were terrified of public speaking before listening to this show, they're now going, oh, that doesn't sound that bad. Maybe I'll try it again. And they should try it again, and you should try it again if you're listening. And that's the key to kind of demystify what public speaking is really all about. Because really, it's simply a one-to-many conversation that you have one audience member at a time.
And that makes it seem so friendly and achievable. And I remember when I did a speech, I was told to practice. And I thought that means learn, memorize. And I memorized it. And I was so busy memorizing it in my head, I didn't have a connection to the audience. And it's that connection to the audience. And it's almost showing a bit of vulnerability. If you say the wrong thing, it doesn't matter because that makes you human. And it's just having that rapport with them, which is so important. Same in a sales conversation, same in any conversation, same right now. And this is what it is. Each is always an opportunity to connect with someone.
Right. And think about the mindset of memorization versus the mindset of connecting. If I had memorized the speech, and you know how this is, all of our mind chatter goes, what's the next line? What's the next line? Don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. Oh my goodness, you can't forget. Do not forget the next part. The next part you always had trouble with. This next part's going to be tough. What's the next? You are totally in your head right here. You are not connecting. You are not seeing that audience. You are like a robotic mouth that is going through a pre-programmed script. And so here's the mantra as far as your memorization experience. The mantra is, you should show up over-prepared and under-rehearsed. Over-prepared, meaning you know your content forwards, backwards, and upside down. You know the ideas. You know the talking points. But you're under-rehearsed. You're not canned. You're not memorized. When you give that same speech 10 times, it's going to be 10 different speeches. You can listen to the recordings. You can get the transcripts. You're going to put different words in different order. You might tell one story before the other story the next time. That's okay. That's what humans do. Nina, if you and I sat down in a coffee shop and you said, David, tell me about your kids. Tell me about Woofy the Wonder Dog, your 14-year-old Labrador Retriever. I would tell you Woofy stories. I would tell you kid stories. None of it's memorized because I've lived it. So I don't need to memorize anything. So your content needs to be over-prepared, meaning you know it forwards, backwards, and upside down because you've lived it, under-rehearsed, nothing memorized. Talk from the heart. Because now when I'm connecting, and by the way, I have no problem. I get paid lots and lots of money to go out and speak at these events. I'll be in front of 400 people with a 5-figure speaking fee they just gave me. I'll be on some rant, and I will literally say, where was I going with that? And I will lose my spot. And I have 100% ease with that. I'm not terrified. I'm not scared. They laugh. They laugh. I said, no, guys, I'm actually not kidding. What was the last thing I said? And someone will call it out from the audience and go, oh, okay. Were we talking about that before? No. I said, okay. Well, then I just did a great job answering a question that none of you had. And they laugh again. By that point, I'm either picking up the thread or I can go off in a different direction because remember, nothing is memorized. So there's no pressure. If nothing is, pressure comes from, I have to deliver the way that it's memorized. No memorization, almost all the pressure goes away. I get a little bit nervous before every talk for one reason and one reason only. I want to honor that audience. I want to do a good job for them. This is like a concert pianist. It's not like he's going to forget the notes. He knows the notes. He's done it since he was 6 years old. He's not going to say, oh, how does this next part of the Mozart thing go? I want to honor that audience. I want to do the best possible job for them. So I get a little butterflies. I get a little bit nervous. Within 10 seconds of stepping on that stage, all that nervousness goes away. I think it was Arsenio Hall, American talk show host back from the 1980s and 1990s. He said, I know that it's time to throw in the towel when I don't get nervous before every show, because that means I've lost my connection and lost my rapport and respect with my audience. So you want to have that little 5-10% nervousness. You do not want to be seized up with being terrified.
Yes. And I think being terrified is trying to remember every word because when you're so rehearsed, you lose your spot and then you just standing there blank. Whereas if it's just more of a chat, it makes it so much more enjoyable. I threw away my script after that. I thought, I don't want to do it like this. And the next time I spoke at Toastmasters, they needed someone to fill in. I said, I'll do a talk tomorrow. I hadn't rehearsed it. I knew my stuff. And I really enjoyed giving the talk. It is about enjoyment at the end of the day, isn't it? It's not about being robotic. It's about building a connection and really being there, being in the moment and present. You have given us so much great value in this call, and I thank you for it. And I could talk to you for much, much longer, but we're coming to the end of our time. And I'd love to know, how can our listeners and our viewers, how can they find out more about you and your work?
Thank you for asking. So the Global Command Center is the website. Folks can go to doitmarketing.com. If they want to listen to our podcast, it's doitmarketing.com/podcast or thespeakingshow.com. And we also have some free online speaker training at doitmarketing.com/webinar. But everything is on the website. Everything is easily accessible, downloadable. Take advantage of all the free resources that we have waiting for you there.
Absolutely. I would encourage all of you to find out more about David's work because it is fantastic and highly enjoyable. And his emails, I love reading them. Thank you so much for being here. And for everyone who's been listening and watching, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. And thank you so much for being here. Till next time. Bye-bye for now.